Hi, I'm Glenn Dill, and I'm a full-time course creator. So this is a follow-up tutorial just to provide a deeper dive into how ChatGPT can be used as a course creation tool. Now, let's get right into it. For those of you that saw my short on this subject, I thought it was interesting to just do that short, totally letting ChatGPT go ahead and write the script. Now, I don't know about you, but my first impression was, without any edits or anything, it sounded just like a commercial, right? So I left it mostly that way. I cut out a few things to get down to a minute, things that I wouldn't normally do. I want to say right up front that I am not being compensated in any way by ChatGPT or their parent corporation at all. This is just me sharing my experiences with you about how in the world can this tool, a very powerful tool, be used in course creation. So I know it creates a lot of issues, so we're going to go through those, but here's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to show you basically how to get on the system and how to use it. We're going to go through real quick about how it actually generated a script for me for that short, and then we're going to do deeper dives into what it can and can't do in terms of my research on this and use of it. We're going to talk about the issues with potential conflicts and copyright issues. So that's going to be something that we'll cover at the end, so you want to stick around for that. Again, what I'm trying to do is save you time by going through and using this tool to see how can it be used, and are the claims that are made by the company that you saw essentially in my short about being able to customize it for your students and all of this, all of those things sound wonderful. Does it really work? Well, let's find out. Best way to do it is just do it. So here we go. You go to their website, and I'll have a link to that down below. OpenAI is the parent company. And you'll see right at the top, they'll have a link to get you to the ChatGPT sign-in. So here it is. I won't take you through all of that. I'll just go briefly to where we did the sign-in. And as you can see here, you can. It's a simple startup page. It gives you some examples here of questions you can ask, its capabilities, and its limitations. So real briefly, let's just go through that. Keep in mind that ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence program that basically is self-teaching itself different topics by gathering all the information that's available on the internet through multiple sources and aggregating that to answer your question. So it's an impressive thing. You might say, well, doesn't Google do that? Well, absolutely. But this is much, much, much simpler because with Google, you have to be the one to go find this information and sift through all the ads and all of this. Well, with ChatGPT, you can just put in a simple question, pretty much anything, and you can make it pretty detailed, and it will come back with something. So examples here are explain quantum computing in simple terms, how to make an HTTP request in JavaScript. Its capabilities are that it remembers what users say. Now they do that by having a chat, and so think of that as a string of emails or a thread, if you would. And so you enter a chat, you create a chat, and you stay in that chat as long as you're basically in the same topic. I'd suggest that you get into a new chat. You can start as many chats as you want to if you're going to a significantly different topic. And the reason why is because staying in that general topic area, even though you may ask lots of different questions and wide range of questions about that general topic, helps because you get better results that way. You can also go back, so it remembers what users said earlier in the conversation. So I've gone back and looked to see, and it pulls right up and remembers my account, and it pulls it right back up so I can see if I want to, what I did before. Now, for me personally, being old school guy that I am, I cut and paste it into Word just so I have it in a, more logical way of filing system. Now it allows users to provide follow-up corrections. So they're looking for you to help them correct the database so that it will give correct answers all the time. Because as you'll see, it will not always give you correct answers. It is trained to decline inappropriate requests, so there's some protections there. Now, it's got some limitations. It may occasionally generate incorrect information. You got to watch out for that. It may occasionally produce harmful instructions based on content. And its knowledge, and this is very important, is limited to the world of events and the information and the body of knowledge on any given topic through 2021. So if you're asking it about, what's going on in 2023, it cannot tell you that, except if there is a research paper or something that was published back in 21 that says, that references, they're predicting in 2023 or beyond that some event would happen. So that's how it what it can do and some examples. But let's just give it a try. So let's start with what I typed in as a course creator, just to see what it could do in terms of generating a script that made sense and actually saved me time to do that 1-minute short video. Now, if you see in the left side here in the bar, it shows my chat that I had about e-learning course process. And so I clicked on that, and it remembers, even though I did this many hours ago today. And the question that I asked was, create a script for a 1-minute YouTube video describing how ChatGPT can be used to produce an e-learning course. And in just a matter of seconds, it generated this. All right, so this is the script when I ask it to make a script of a 1-minute YouTube short video on the topic of how ChatGPT could be used by a course creator. It gave me this, which included, as you can see, some suggestions on kinds of videos I could use, B-rolls and different views and things on the video. So, for instance, after I said the initial, as a course creator, you know how time-consuming and challenging it can be to create high-quality e-learning videos. It said, cut to video footage of a person recording in front of a green screen. And I did that. Then I said, well, what if there was a way to automate the process and make it more efficient? Cut to footage of a person typing on a computer, and so forth. So it generated it in just a few seconds. And, it was pretty good and sounded like a commercial, but that's the information it had. So I decided, even though it was a little commercial-like for me, wouldn't normally do that in this type of a video, but I wanted to make a point. This is what it gave you really quickly. So let's take a look at some other types of questions that I ask it in that same chat. So let's see if it can do longer videos. So somewhere down here I said, I'd ask the question slightly differently. Create a script for a 1-minute YouTube video describing how ChatGPT can be used in producing e-learning courses. And it gave me a better 1-minute chat. Then I ask it, what about longer, scripts? And here I ask it, create a 15-minute script to teach an online class on how to play a guitar. Now, it can do that, and it actually did a pretty good job. If you play the guitar, but I've never taught it, so it didn't give me 15 minutes worth, but probably, 5 minutes of text and voice. It says, hey, welcome to your online guitar class. Are you ready to learn how to play the guitar? My name is, I'll be your instructor. And it gives, again, opening shot with instructor holding the guitar. Okay, then it does actually do things that I thought maybe it wouldn't. It would keep it too gentle. But down here you can see, now let's start learning how to play some chords. Chords are a combination of notes played together to create a harmonic sound. First chord is going to learn is the G chord. To play it, you place your middle finger on the 3rd fret, low E string, your index finger on the 2nd fret, A string, and your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, then strum all strings together. So kind of starts getting into it a little. So the point being, you really have to play around with ChatGPT in order to see if it's going to be helpful to you. I asked it along the same lines. I said, hey, suggest a YouTube thumbnail title for a guitar class that invites mystery and interest in this video. Pretty quickly, it gave me several of them. Unlock the secrets of the guitar, master an art of playing in just 15 minutes a day. That's definitely a good one. Discover the hidden tricks of playing guitar like a pro in no time. Unleash your inner rock star. Transform your guitar skills. Guitar mastery. The ultimate guide to playing like a pro in no time. So what does this give us? To me, if it tells us that you can get a script out of ChatGPT pretty easily. The question is that, do you want to run with that script just like it is? Here's one thing that you ought to think about before you do that. There's several things I want to talk about. The most important is that if you think about how ChatGPT generates this script, it's going out on the internet and grabbing information that's readily available, that it has access to. It may be copyrighted material, may not be. In some cases, as you'll see later, if it's a study or something that has a clear reference, they will reference it, but they won't always reference it. So I asked them if ChatGPT had any issues with copyright when people use the material, and it said best thing to do is don't use it verbatim out of here, because you never know, and it's the responsibility of the course creator to make sure that there's no copyright infringement. So here's my view of this is use ChatGPT as a great way to generate ideas. Look at it as it's giving you a script with a rough draft, but then take a few minutes and take that rough draft and make it your own. Change some words, use the types of words that you feel comfortable with, put your own style on it. And when you do that, it's a unique creation on your part and should get around copyright issues. You really need to be careful of that if you're going to sell that content for commercial purposes or to make money, which of course most of us are trying to do that. So you got to be careful. So the next chat that I entered into was about seeing if I could use this information that comes from ChatGPT to conduct market research to help people find their niche or niche. And so let's look at that thread. So let me get down here to the original question. So I ask it some specific things. What is the average cost of an online course in problem solving, which is one of my areas that I teach on, in the U.S.? And it gives me general information, which is typical. But then it says, according to some sources, the average cost of an online course ranges from $50 to $300. However, some online courses can cost as much as $1,000 or more, particularly in universities. Okay, that's not bad information. Goes on to say there are some institutions even offer free classes, also free online resources available, such as open source types of things. So, it's general information, nothing that I didn't already kind of know. But then I ask it, where do you find people that are interested in growing vegetables in apartments? So if your courses are on something really specific like that, let's see if it helps us with market research there. And it says there are specific several places, where you can find people interested in growing vegetables in apartments, community gardens, online communities, Facebook. So it gives you some general information, which, is helpful, especially if you're kind of starting out, and it may generate some ideas, something that you haven't thought of. So I do think that is worthwhile. Also, I asked it, where can you find people interested in designing online courses? A general question. There's several places: professional organizations, online communities, social media, freelancing, universities. There's some good general information here. Again, can you get that somewhere else? Of course you can. That's where they're getting it. The benefit is that it aggregates it and gets it to you very quickly to save you time. So I do think there is a clear productivity benefit of using ChatGPT to do some general research. But, you're not going to be able to get out of doing any work if you really want to make a good course and make it your own. So then I ask it to write a 100-word script describing how to conduct market research. And it did that. There's some good stuff in here. I also ask it, what other AI platforms are there that compete with ChatGPT? And they mentioned Google's Dialogflow, Microsoft's Azure bot service, of course, IBM's Watson, Amazon's Lex. And these platforms provide similar functionality, it says, as ChatGPT, such as natural language processing and understanding and generation, but they may have different features and capabilities. And don't know if these actually charge things or not. But in future videos, I'll do a head-to-head comparison to see what is. For sure, ChatGPT doesn't charge. It's open, it's free, and that's certainly a big benefit. So let me share this with you in summary. So I asked it, how can ChatGPT be used to create courses? And this, I think, is really important. It says generating course content. First, ChatGPT can be used to generate written or spoken content in the course, such as lesson plans, quizzes, and assignments. It can create interactive tutorials, which is interesting. ChatGPT can be used to create interactive tutorials by using natural language and understanding to respond to questions from students and providing personalized feedback. Now that is fascinating to me, because we all know that the more that we can take the online experience and make it more like some of the better aspects of a classroom, where people can interact with each other, the better we can do that, the more effective people can learn. So I will be digging into that in much more detail soon in future tutorials. It can act as a virtual teaching assistant. It can be used as a virtual teacher to answer questions, provide additional resources, help students. The interesting thing is that if you're teaching a course, how do you tie that in? Is it a link? Can you get a link embedded into your course, online course, where they would go and ask some questions, which would be valuable, I think. It can provide automated evaluation, can be used to evaluate student responses, open-ended questions. So if you have an essay or an open-ended kind of a question to test a student's knowledge or their understanding of a topic that you're teaching, you could use that to do a quick check of it and give you their impression of whether or not it meets the criteria. Interesting. And personalized learning. Again, this is fascinating to me. It can be used to create personalized learning experiences for students by adapting the content and pace of the course based on the individual needs and progress. I want to dig deeper into that because I think that could be very useful for all of us in certain situations. So again, in summary, what I'd say is absolutely course creators should be using ChatGPT to help them generate ideas, particularly if you're like me and you have a lot of general ideas about the courses that you want to do. Sometimes you get hung up, there's a log jam, kind of like writer's block or creator's block, just to get started. But if you used ChatGPT as a draft of your idea, it'll cause you to think, maybe it helps you organize things. Again, I would not recommend that you essentially use it verbatim for your courses that you're going to charge for, because it does have limitations, and again, it has some potential risks with copyright infringement that you'd want to stay away from. The other thing is, if you're doing research into any topic, or you have a question yourself about something that you're teaching and you want to get clarity around a definition, very, very helpful as a productivity tool. So clearly as a productivity tool to help us all get our content done and done well, I think it's a definite plus. Given that it's free, the value is very, very high. Got to be careful on how you use it, obviously. And you also have to realize that it's evolving. So later, people have said maybe this year, next year, at some point in time, they will upgrade it and it could be even more powerful. So that's something to watch for. As for me, I'm going to test out these features, especially the features where it could be used to do customization. I'm fascinated by that. I want to see how that works practically. So look for that in upcoming videos. I hope this has been helpful to you. I'd love to hear your comments on this and your questions, and I'll, who knows, I may use ChatGPT to answer your questions. Okay, thank you. Bye.